Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we are taking a look at the 6 new Tier 2 characters. This update was actually dropped about 30 hours ago or something like that. It was yesterday at about 3:30 p.m. Unfortunately, I already had a video up for you guys that was queued to play. That was the Moon Knight review. Don't hate me for that, guys. It's still a great video. You should check it out if you have any interest in Moon Knight as a character. If you don't and you're just looking for my thoughts on this, then here we go. Now, this is the Spider-Verse Tier 2 update patch, and this is also the mid-patch update. So, if you recall in a very previous video from a while back, feels like forever, boys and girls, we did the 5 new Tier 2s that were coming out. There was the Ghost Rider, Hulk, and a bunch of other crap that nobody wanted. This is basically the same update schedule, and so it means that we're halfway towards the next big kind of content push. This isn't necessarily a content update. This is just to bring new characters, or sorry, to bring some new flavor to existing characters, and give characters who need their tier 2s. So we got Venom, Carnage, SpiderGwen, Silk, Miles Morales. Ta-da! Those are the 5, actually. I don't know why I said 6, but yeah, it's 5. So 5 new characters, 5 tier 2s, and we're gonna go through them one at a time, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts. Gonna give you my thoughts on which one I think is the best, which one I think is the worst, and we're gonna try to flesh some bigger ideas out here in the long term and in the big picture, because that's usually what I'm more concerned about, guys, is the big picture. So let's have a look here. Venom, he gets a 35% all speed buff, and that's not something that needs to be triggered. That's something that he will just get, and he will never go away. I think it's awesome. I love seeing big numbers, and I think this is the biggest number we've ever seen for an all speed increase, so it should make him like the Usain Bolt of fucking Future Fight. Alright? So hopefully he's dabbing and shit when he wins, or when he gets the highest DPS. I don't even know. Venom, thank you for the free energy recharge, Netmarble. Anyways, Venom has been a shitty character for the longest time. He was only good like way back in the 6 when the game first came out, which is like more than a year ago. He's absolutely trash tier now, even with his uniform. He has no iframes, he has no healing. His skills have really long animations. They keep him pinned down in place when he's casting them. He's just a character from yesteryear. A character who was, once designed for a game whose end boss was like, Chapter 8, Thor's mission, or something like that. It was pretty rough. So he gets the all-speed increase, he gets the 52% increase to skill damage, the 45% increase to bonus damage, and a 45% ignore dodge. That is humongous. He gets 4 stats, guys, and all of them are above 35%. Those are big, juicy melon numbers, and it makes me wonder why other characters get things like 20% dodge ignore or 10% defense penetration. I know, and I stand by the video I made where I said that characters don't need to be balanced or necessarily equal, but yeah, they're showing a lot of love to Venom here. He needs it, but so do some other characters. That's all I'm gonna say. So I give this tier 2 for Venom a pretty good score. I'd give this like a B+. Venom is still not going to be, a world boss crusher. He's not going to guarantee you world boss wins. There probably will be videos out soon that show him defeating world bosses, but for the average player, I wouldn't put my money on Venom to push you to the next level. But really good tier 2, showing love to a character that's absolute dumpster level. Next we have Carnage. Now Carnage is infamous for being one of 2, now one of 3 paywall characters. The only way to get Carnage bios is with the daily bio selector that costs about $11 US, and that's how you get his bios. You can use mega rank up tickets on him and then mega tier 2 tickets on him. That's probably the fastest way to get a tier 2 Carnage. Anything else will take you at least a month. Even if you mega rank him now, even if you use a mega rank up on him immediately, you're still going to have to collect those 20 bios every day to max out his gears to 20 before you use the regular ticket. So it's about a month if you spend $11 to get tier 2 Carnage from nothing, or it's a 1 minute, as long as you can put your password in for your credit card, and it's about $100, just under $100, or just over $100. So you kind of weigh that value. It's 10 times the cost, but you get it 29 days faster. And what do you get per se? Well, you get when he uses his 6-star skill, which is his best skill, where he has a huge iframe and he turns into this like freaky face blob thing. You get 54% increase to skill damage and 45% increase to bonus damage, and that's a 10-second buff. And keep in mind, the skill does not have a 10-second cooldown, so you can pretty much keep that buff on all the time if you play, decently well. And you also get a 6-second invincibility. Now, there's a difference in wording between invincibility and invulnerability, or damage immunity, I should say. Damage immunity can be pierced with characters like Wiccan and stuff like that. Invincibility cannot be. Invincibility is like when Thanos goes into his bubble, into his portal. That's going to make him invincible. He will not take any damage no matter what you do. And Carnage is the same way. So he gets 6 seconds of that, and the cooldown time for this thing to activate is 3 seconds. So everyone's pretty much been blowing up about Carnage and how his tier 2 basically makes him invulnerable. It's going to make him probably the best timeline character, and yada yada yada. The short version of this, guys, because I do have a lot more to say about Carnage and it's not going to fit into this video. The short thing that I have to say about Carnage is Carnage is already a really good character. He wasn't a timeline beast per se, but he could already clear all of the world bosses except Infinity Thanos and Black Dwarf. So it's not like he went from trash tier Venom level to fucking Shirog level. He was already like Iron Fist level, and now he's like, pretty much Thanos level. So yeah, I mean, I think that anyways, they gave him a really good buff. Suffice it to say, I don't have to go through the rest of this list to tell you flat out, Carnage is the best tier 2 from this new list. If you want to tier 2 one of these characters, tier 2 Carnage now. Make Carnage great again. Alright? All I'm going to say about that for now. Next up, we have SpiderGwen. SpiderGwen's been getting a lot of press recently. We got some Korean players that are clearing Infinity Thanos with her or shit like that. Just crazy stuff. Good for them. So SpiderGwen gets a activation rate when attacking. It doesn't say the percent chance that it has to trigger when it's attacking. So maybe that's just whenever she attacks, as long as it doesn't get dodged. Then she accumulates 13% of the true damage dealt, regardless of defense or dodge. Just 13% of the flat damage before modifiers come into play. And then it cannot pass 100,000 or 10,000. Oh, I almost read that one wrong, boys. It cannot pass 10,000 over 20 seconds. And then she gets a plus 1% increase to attack and accumulated damage proportional to the max accumulated damage for 20 seconds. So she gets a big damage buff based on how much damage she receives. And she gets a 40% guaranteed dodge. Those things are actually very well synergized, because she could dodge all of Thanos' balls, for example, but then get this huge testicle-infused power boost to spike her DPS. And of course, 40% guaranteed dodge is nothing to laugh at. Iron Fist and Black Widow both have less than that, and Spider-Man. And all those characters seem like really fucking hard to hit in timeline. And so I think SpiderGwen is going to be a pretty serious character as far as like annoying as fuck tier 2 speed characters go. And I do appreciate that they're trying to maybe balance out speed characters a little bit more with the guaranteed dodge, because as we know, speed characters kind of suck in the stats department. So if they're at least harder to hit and kind of in that way harder to kill if they get lucky, it kind of balances out the classes or the typing a little bit more, because speed characters have kind of been left behind a little bit when people stopped playing with dodge before guaranteed dodge was updated or brought to the game. So pretty interesting. I would probably give the SpiderGwen like a B+ or B. It's still not going to make her character, top tier, but she's going to be pretty close, which is the point of tier 2s. Then we have Silk, 15% guaranteed dodge, which is pretty low. And then she gets a 37% increase to critical damage, which is like basically a free max obelisk. Not max obelisk, but near max. And 42% increase to all crit rate. So that's humongous. You could be hitting like 75. I think 75 is the cap. You could be hitting 75% crit rate with Silk if you gear her properly, and that's huge because Silk has kind of low DPS. The guaranteed dodge is low, but Silk already has a shield, so it's not really important. That's just like kind of a wasted slot. She doesn't even need the 15%, to be honest. But Silk was already top tier, and this just makes her a little bit better. This makes her about as competitive as most other tier 2s, so she kind of stays where she is. This is like a B grade tier 2. You know, you already have a really good character in Silk. This is just going to make her a little bit, like quite a bit better, but still, you know, maybe she can clear speed AB, but we have enough characters that can do that it's not something that's so rare or uncommon nowadays, but still a good tier 2. And then we have Miles Morales, 25% guaranteed dodge, which is a little bit more. We're getting into the useful territory here. 32% increased skill damage and 25% increase to bonus damage, which is pretty good. And then 100% damage increase to supervillain types. Now, we don't, I think the only other character that has that is Ghost Rider on his tier 2, if I can remember that correctly. And I haven't seen much, or I haven't heard much about Ghost Rider being like a world boss killer since he got his tier 2 like a month ago. So I wouldn't imagine that Miles Morales is going to get any closer to that status than Ghost Rider did. And Ghost Rider has the advantage of having more of his skills be elemental, so they can be tuned up more by like a Red Hulk leadership or you know, a 50 or 60% fire damage increase obelisk. So, and also he's a universal type, so he has better damage from the get-go than Miles Morales does as a speed character. But Miles Morales is a cool character, and this just keeps him a little bit relevant to characters, or to players that like playing this character. So this is probably like a B plus tier 2. It's nothing like super fantastic, but Miles Morales was already like a decent character to begin with. I honestly don't have that much experience with him, so I can't speak in too much detail or with too much accuracy about how this will affect the character. But I just, from my experience in the game in general, I don't see this making him, you know, god tier. They changed the symbiote ability, which is those abilities that show up just under the character's HP stat in the main page. It will now give ignore dodge 10% as a bonus, which is pretty meaningful. It means that characters like Venom and Carnage have an additional 10% ignore dodge. So, you know, you go up to Venom, and now his tier 2, he's going to have 55% ignore dodge, which is fucking crazy. With an obelisk, he could be near 100% ignore dodge. I don't think that's going to make him like meta, or it's going to bring him into timeline as a useful attacker, because he's still combat, and you know, it's just not going to help that much. But it's cool, and I like it. I hope that they do that a little bit more with the abilities, because I feel like a lot of them are just generic and not that fun. It's like 5% damage or like 3% crit rate, and it's just kind of meaningless fluff that they added that no one really pays attention to. They fixed the language issue, and then they fixed the Thanos, Ebony, and Moon Knight strikers. Now, what this means, guys, is it doesn't mean the strikers for World Boss. It doesn't mean that the strikers are changing to being like when hit or when being hit. That's not what it means. These are the strikers that come in during story missions and special missions and daily missions if you have those characters in your party. So if you have Thanos as your leader and you had War Machine in your party, then War Machine would jump out with like a 20 or less % chance to assist you. Not that Thanos needs any assisting, maybe with holding some, you know, circular shaped objects, but that's fine. Now instead, to fit more with the canon and fit more with the lore of Thanos, Vision and Squirrel Girl will be those strikers on his list. And you can find the striker list in the character information page, not your character's main page, but the character general page that shows like their weight and like useless information like that. So yeah, that's what that's about. So overall, guys, I have to say that this tier 2 announcement is pretty good. It shows some love to Venom and Miles Morales, who needed it. A little bit of love to Gwen, who needed it as well. and Silk and Carnage, of course, being the best characters from this list before tier 2, are the standout tier 2 candidates now. Of course, Carnage takes the cake because it looks like he might be totally broken with it. And funny enough that people are raging so hard against Carnage's tier 2 update because they posted their tier 2 update survey, which has already gotten a lot of feedback about and will continue to get feedback, my own included, because I think there needs to be a bit of a closer look taken at Carnage and his tier 2. But we're going to get into that in another video, guys. I don't want to run this one too long about just one character. So these are my thoughts, guys. I think if you have a tier 2 ticket and you have Carnage ready for it, you should use it on Carnage. If you have another one, you should use it on Silk or Spider-Gwen. I would put Venom and Miles Morales in the 3rd tier of this update, although I am personally curious to see how Venom plays out because he is a really cool character with a really cool uniform, and it would be nice if he kind of came back and had a lot more impact in the game the way that Spider-Man and Carnage do, because he's kind of playing third fiddle, third string right now to other characters, even though he's basically Spider-Man's arch nemesis. So let me know what you guys think of these tier 2s. Let me know who you tier 2'd or who you think should have gotten a bigger upgrade or less of an upgrade. I know this update made a lot of people salty, so bring all those minerals into my comments, guys. And if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.